See, so today's topic is exception handling. Okay, exception handling. So, what is exception handling in Java? Oh, just a minute. Mm, why it is not giving me that? Okay, exception handling. Okay, so what is exception handling? Now, exception handling is, or rather, exception. What is exception? Exception is basically unwanted or it's a wrong implementation or a wrong code, basically. Okay, um, or rather, what is the difference between exception and error? Right, what is the difference? It's a common question, right? What is the difference between exception and error? So error is basically, it's not in your hand. Okay, it's not the coding error, or you can say it's somehow related to code, but not directly related to the developer. Developer means you, right, who is writing the code. Okay, so error is like I have described, right? Stack overflow, right? Stack overflow error, um, virtual machine error, or VM error, JVM error, out of memory errors. So these are all errors. Okay, these are not directly related to um, so this is error. Okay, so errors are of different type, like stack overflow error, virtual memory, I think. What is that? Memory error. Hmm? Or somehow out of memory error, out of memory errors. These are errors. These will not let your program run, first thing. Okay, and you'll get all of these in runtime. Okay, it's not that at the compile time you will get these exceptions and errors. Compile time, whatever you will get in red color, you will be overcoming those compilation errors, right? But in runtime, these all errors can happen. Okay, so these are called errors. Okay, and what about exception? exceptions are Exceptions are mainly um, related to coding. Okay, related to coding, not the system. Okay, like if we talk about exception exception are of type, um, we can say exception are of runtime exception, runtime exception. Okay, and there are some compile time exception, compile time exceptions. Okay, so in compile time exceptions, what are the exceptions? Compile time exception is IO exception. What is IO exception? Suppose you are dealing with some file, reading or writing or checking the presence of a file. So if that particular file is not there present, or that particular file is not openable, then you will get this IO exception, input output exception. Okay, IO exception. So next thing is SQL exception. SQL exception. Okay, and class not found exception. So these exceptions you will not get at, obviously this all of these things you will not get at compile time, but when you will try to run the program, you will get this kind of exceptions. So why it is compile time exception? So compile time exception not lets you run the program. Okay, compile time exception is not compiler error. Compilation wise, all white or all green, everything is fine, but you'll not be able to run the program until and unless you are handling these kind of exceptions. Suppose you are writing one code to read some data from Excel file, or read some data from JSON file. So you have to mandatorily handle this IO exception, because in any case, suppose that for particular file is not present, then your program will crash, right? Your program will crash. It will not be a seamless execution, or you will not get a proper error message. Similarly, when you are dealing with SQL, means database thing, suppose you are fetching some data or creating some data. I mean, fetching some data from a database, any database. Okay, it could be MySQL, it could be SQL Server, it could be Oracle DB. So for all the DB, you have to mandatorily handle, or mandatorily mention the exceptions for SQL exception. Okay, SQL exception is the must. Okay, handling SQL exception is must while you are dealing with some database. Okay. So similarly, another exception, a compile time exception is there, that is class not found exception. Suppose your somehow Java is not able to find the main method, or Java is not able to find the compiled class file. Okay, then class not found exception would be the case. Okay, and then there is another type of exception which will only get at the runtime, which will get at the runtime. Those exceptions are called runtime exception. Runtime exception, it will let you run the program, okay, but runtime it will throw this kind of exceptions. Okay, this is again completely related to uh, the developer. Okay, this for these runtime exceptions, developers are responsible. Developers are responsible. Okay, so let me clear it and run it here. I mean, write it here. So runtime exception, this is most important. Okay, runtime exception. So in runtime exception, we'll have arithmetic exception. We will show what is that. Arithmetic exception. Null pointer exception. null pointer exception. Number format exception. Number format exception. And next is index out of bound exception. We have already seen, right, what is index out of bound exception at the time of array and string classes. Bound exception. Now these can be of two types. Index out of bound exception can be of two types. One is array index out of bound. Array index out of bound, and another is string index out of bound. String index out of bound. Okay, array index out of bound and string index out of bound, there are two types. Okay, so these are all runtime exception. Okay, these are all runtime exception. Got it? Okay. Now let's go to the code and check what are the runtime exception and what all non-runtime exception. Right now, errors cannot be, I mean, I cannot demo the error. Error is random thing, right? Because error is not in our hand somehow. Exceptions, developer can create exceptions, but error is literally Java's internal systems problem. Correct? So let me create one package here called exception handling. Exception handling. Okay, let me create one class. Exception handling tut.java. Okay. Exception handling tut.java. Now main method, let's say, and suppose I want to read some file. Okay, I want to read some file. So what is the I mean what is the code to read file? It's calling the file, right? Suppose first line is file file equal to new file or rather file, why it's not coming, just a minute, let me delete it. Java is ready. Exception handling. Exception handling tut.java. Okay. Now main method, um, suppose I want to work with some file system. File, why file is not coming? File, why it's not? No, it's Java file only. Okay, let me check. Okay, just a minute. Why it is not coming? Let me check. Uh, what about file input stream? Why? How it is? This out. Put. It's working fine. Then what is the problem? File. Instead of file, let's see, buffer reader, buffers, buffered reader, br equal to new buffered reader. Okay, and then we'll provide some file path here. Okay, now this should work. Why it is not taking? I mean, we have to do like that. I mean, these are all Java's internal libraries. Why these are not taking? I am little surprised. Just let me delete it first. To thrash. Okay. That, I mean, that is the expected. Even visual. New file will give red because you have to handle the exception there. Okay, see the error. What is the error you are getting? It's exception handling error you will be getting. let me create set tude.java. Okay, main method buffered oh yeah, buffered reader. Suppose buffered reader, it's a normal, you know, way to read any file. Okay, buffered reader means reading any file line by line. Okay, that is a buffered reader. So or file system, I mean file, using file class also we can do, but let's do it. New buffered reader. Okay, and here new file reader, then we have to put the file path as a string. Okay, this is the syntax, by the way. This is the syntax to get anything from, or get any sort of file. It could be JSON file, it could be any file. Okay, any readable file can be read using this buffered reader and file reader. Now if we see, I am getting one red color, unhandled exception. What is the exception I am getting? Unhandled exception type file not found exception. Okay, now until and unless I am handling this exception, until and unless I am handling this exception, I won't be able to go forward or I mean run this particular program. This is what compile time exceptions are. Okay, this is what compile time exceptions are. During compilation only, it is saying that you have to handle the file not found exception, otherwise you won't be able to go forward. Okay, so this is called compile time exception. Okay, so suppose here there are two ways we can handle it. Actually there are one way we can handle, that is try catch. Handling means our program will not, I mean our program will throw error and then go forward. Go forward means go to an end or something like that. Okay, even if exception arises, it will not terminate. The program will not terminate. Termination means what? Termination means your application is crashing. That is somehow not wanted, right? That is not needed. So for seamless work of a software or of an application, you have to handle the exception. Maybe you can show some meaningful messages that there are some problems and we are working on it, or there are some problems, maybe you are missing putting the file in the location, something like that. You have to enter in the message box. So how using try catch we can handle the exception? So there is one block called try catch. Okay, see, try catch. Okay, now inside this try catch you have to put this line. You have to put this line. Now see, you are not getting that error or exception or red line here because it's already handled. But handled by what? Handled by exception. As you know, this exception class is the parent class of both runtime exception and compile time exception. Okay, that is why exception is a bigger class, but the exception handling should be the particular one. Okay, like here we may get file not found exception, we may get file not found exception. So we have to put here file not found exception, not only the exception. Okay, this exception, because exception is a parent class. Okay, exception is a parent class. So under exception, which particular exception you are getting, you will not find out if you are handling with exception class. Okay, if you are handling with exception class, it will work, no worry. I mean, no I mean, no doubt about it, it will work. But which exception under the exception class is actually triggering, you will not find out, because there are several exceptions I have already discussed, right? There could be arithmetic exception, there could be file not found exception, there could be IO exception, right? So those exceptions needs to be handled separately. So this is the structure of a block, try catch block. Okay, now you can have more than one catch block if you want to handle more than exception. So suppose this is file not found exception, and I also want to handle IO exception. Okay, IO exception, that is also possible. IO exception, file not found exception, and IO exception. So what is this IO exception saying? Unreachable, it's not okay, signals that IO exception of some sort has occurred. This class is the general class of exceptions produced failed or interrupted IO operations. Any IO operations means input output stream operations. Okay, so it will throw IO exception. Okay, suppose it's somehow file is not readable, IO exception you will get. Suppose file is not present, you will get file not found exception. Okay, so these are the exception, compile time exception. Okay, but definitely this is a coder's issue. Definitely this is coder's issue or developer's issue. Okay, clear, right? Now suppose there could be SQL exception. If you want to handle some SQL thing, right? SQL thing. Let me try here. I mean, let me open another project. I already have one project. Cucumber BDD, no. Gradle framework, API framework, Ubuntu Chrome Docker, no. Demo, okay. Automation project, okay. Okay, let's see if we have any common method. See, I have written one code to read some data from database. Okay, I have deployed a database in my local, and I have written one code to read the data from database. Now see, I have handled this SQL exception here. Now suppose I do not handle SQL exception here. I mean, let me handle some IO exception. Okay, IO exception. Now see, you will get error or you will not be able to go forward. Okay, see, unhandled exception in SQL exception. Okay, so for SQL operation, for any database operation, you have to mandatorily handle this SQL operation. Otherwise, you won't be able to go forward with your code. Got it? Any confusion for a compile time exception? The exception I just put. I mean, this is only an example. What? SQL buffer reader, right? Yes. Hmm. Yes. Yes. Because exception handling package is selected. Exception handling. You, arey, anyway, you can do. You can drag the folder to the root folder, right? No, at the lower. Just drag it to the lowermost area. Yes, drag, move. So why you are writing this file reader manually? No, don't no need. Class, class, directly class. Main method. Now write buffered reader. Capital B, capital B, ERED, buffered, BUFFERED, D, reader. Automatically it should come. Maybe there is some problem with library, or maybe I was also facing the same issue, right? So delete the class and create it again. It will solve. Okay, or restart the restart your ID Visual Studio. No, package is just a folder. No need to do anything with package. Already created na exception handling. Class name should always start with capital letter. delete it again and write create another one. Or give some other name or class name, some except handling or something like that. Except handling. Dot Java. Control space, model control space, put control space. No suggestion. Quick fix. Anyway, I mean, maybe that library problem is there. It will be fixed, no problem. Maybe it is not taking now, but it will be fixed. I was also facing the same issue. No problem. Okay, I am sharing my screen. So this is how we handle exception. Okay, any runtime exception or any compile time exception. So there is another way to throw exception. Throw exception. Always remember, throw exception is not handling the exception. Throw exception is throwing the exception and crashing the program. Okay. So instead of using this try catch block, we can also do throw, throw, throws file not found exception. That will also work, but it is not the exception handling, it is throwing the exception. Okay, it is throwing the exception. So method name then throws file not found exception. Method name throws file not found exception, or any kind of exception you can throw. And you can also throw multiple exceptions like this, like IO exception, or many more. But that is not the required standard. Okay, throwing exception is not the required standard. Rather, we have to handle the exception. Okay, so try catch block will be the standard one. Okay, try catch block will be the standard one, right? Okay, this one is your runtime exception, not runtime exception, compile time exception. Suppose arithmetic exception. What is the arithmetic exception? Arithmetic exceptions are, suppose you are dividing some number. Let me delete this try catch. Dividing some numbers. Suppose int result equal to 10 divided by 0. So this is divided by 0, arithmetic exception. Some number divided by 0 will result nothing, right? It's an exceptional case. So if you put result, then what will be the result? The result will be an exception. It will throw an exception which is called arithmetic exception, or divided by 0. So what we can do to provide our own message here, we can simply write a try catch block here and put the code inside try catch block. Okay, now when exception will occur, it will come to this catch. Okay, and here arithmetic exception. arithmetic, or we can copy this arithmetic exception class name, control V. Okay, arithmetic exception. Now we can put some message here, or customize message, that there is an arithmetic exception, so divided by 0 is not allowed. Okay, this kind of message we can put, so that you will not get this kind of exception message, but we can give the customized message. If you run it again, see, there is an exception, so divided by 0 is not allowed. So it is loud and clear that there is an exception in this particular calculation, right? So this is how we handle exception. By the way, arithmetic exception is what kind of exception? It is runtime exception. So it will not give us anything in compile time. That means we will be able to run the program without any error, but we will get exception at the runtime. Understood why it is called runtime exception? Uh, is it clear? Am I audible? Practicing means? Okay, fine. Suppose one more exception is null pointer exception, right? So what we know, that tree set do not, or rather hash table do not allow you to add any null key or null value. Okay, null key or null value. So let me put in this way. Hash table, hash map, or map, let's say integer string map equal to new hash table. So today is this some problem or what, I don't know, but it's not importing the libraries, internal libraries even. Okay, so control S, map, somehow it is detached with anyway. Let me close it and open it again. It happens. Open source, we are dealing with open source things, right? Just a minute, let me update this VS code first every day. Yeah, that is expected. That is expected actually. This is welcome screen. Okay. Where is that open folder? Batch. This is very common. I mean, you will get these kind of issues very often with when you are using these kind of open source technologies. You will get. I mean, this is accepted by everyone. Okay. So suppose this is map. Now it came. Map integers, comma string. Map equal to new hash table, new hash table. And what we know that hash table doesn't allow you to add any map dot put, let's say null. Okay, it should give you uh, and map dot get null. It should give you a null pointer exception. A null pointer exception. See, you are getting null pointer exception, right? Now I want to show the user that you are putting a wrong value or null value to this particular map, so you have to use a particular value, or you have to use either integer or string value as a key. So what we can do, we can simply cover it using a try catch method. Okay, try catch method or try catch block, not method, try catch block. We can simply put this under inside try catch block, right? Try block. Actual code will reside in try block, and catch means whenever there will be an exception, the catch block will be executed. So this is null pointer exception. We are handling null pointer exception, though handling of null pointer exception is not the standard. We should not handle null pointer exception like this. Rather, whenever we are getting null pointer exception, we should train user that don't give this null null value or null key, or we should handle it using if and else statement or some conditional statement that we should not allow this null pointer, I mean null values, null key or null value in anything. So here we can put something for now, that please provide integer not null key or string not null value. Okay, now whenever exception will occur, it will come to control, will come to this catch block, and catch block will be executed. Catch block will be executed, and you will get this particular message. See, please provide integer not null key or string not null value. Okay, this kind of message we can put. So this is called exception handling. Okay, this is called exception handling. But null pointer exception we should not handle, though it is runtime exception, but we should not handle null pointer exception. Rather, we have to handle it inside the code itself, not in the catch block. Okay, there are certain standard of using try catch block, that inside catch block we should not assert anything, we should not do any assertion. Okay, we can return some value, true value or false value, based on this try catch, or based on the catch thing, right? When it is failed, then we are throwing the, or we are returning the boolean false value. That is also fine, but we should not use any assertion inside catch value. Anyway, exception handling you understood, right? Okay, fine. Okay, do it. Do I mean at least write one program here, na? Write one program here like this. Okay, and we'll go then in the next topic. Hmm. Oh, it will be imported. I mean, just you have to wait for some time, or you may have to delete the class again and create the class. It's not. I mean, it is very expected. I was also facing the same issue. My screen is shared. My screen is shared. Everyone is able to see my screen, right? Oh, now it is visible. Done? Please let me know once done. Vanilla, is your laptop system up and running now? Okay, don't you have a personal laptop? I mean, decide it. I mean, we will start automation, right? Then, if you are not doing the hands on, Nirmal, you are done, right? Okay, fine. So that is fine. I mean, later you will open, it will automatically solve the issue. Okay, fine. Okay, so here we are ending our core Java. So asking as a generic question, if you have any concern about core Java, or if you have any question about core Java, so we can anyway discuss throughout the session, right? We can anyway discuss, but as of now you want me to repeat anything, or as of now you want to understand anything? Little bit of interfaces, okay. Destructor, what is destructor, by the way? Destructor, well, I mean, in latest Java there is no destructor. Okay, fine. A small recap. You can anyway go through the video. Uh, okay. See. See. So what is the class structure? Your class structure is, suppose the class name is August. This is my class name, right? So what is the class structure here? Public August. Public class August. Or rather, let me write it clearly. Public class August. This is my class structure, right? This is my class structure. Now, from where the execution starts, it's main method. Correct? It's main method. Now inside main method, what you have to do, you have to create an object of this August class. So what is the syntax for this? August, right? uh, obj equal to new August. Correct? This is the syntax we are using so far. Correct? Now see, I mean, look at this particular thing. Okay, what is this? This is this August, then opening bracket and closing bracket. What is this calling? I mean, why we are calling this kind of structure here? This is the constructor. This is default constructor. Default constructor means the constructor which is not having any argument. The constructor which is not having any argument, and it is by default created. You do not need to create explicitly. Okay, it's by default created. So suppose this is my, I am creating this constructor on my own. Now suppose I want to initialize some variable as soon as this constructor is called, or as soon as this object is created. How? Suppose here int n, I have just declared this particular int n. Now inside this August this, I am initializing n equal to 10. Okay, n equal to 10. Now what will happen if we sys out here, sys out obj dot n, we will get this n equal to 10 value. Why we will get 10 value? Because at the time of instantiation we are initializing the value of n. We are initializing the value of n. This is why the constructor is used at the time of object creation. If we want to initialize at the time of object creation, if we want to initialize some values, some variables, we will need constructors. We will need constructors. Clear? Yes. Constructor is needed. We do not want to, I mean, at the time of disclose the variable, we are not initializing it, or at the time of declaring the variable, we are not initializing it, but when the object is created, we are initializing it. This is also a concept of lazy initialization, which is Java concept or Java standard rather, lazy initialization. So this kind of thing, or at the time of, I mean, initializing a variable at the time of object creation is promotes this lazy initialization. Okay, in some cases it depends, but in some cases it promotes lazy initialization. Got it? Now you can have multiple constructors for a class. You can have, suppose this is the default constructor that doesn't have any arguments. You can also have August. Suppose you are passing some string from here, num, okay, name rather, and here you are putting some name, let's say this dot name equal to name. This dot name equal to name. This means this name is, suppose here you have initialized some variable called name. Okay, name. This denotes this class. Okay, this instant, this denotes this class, and this name is this name. So you are assigning the name you have initialized here. You are assigning the name, you will be passing through the argument. So how you will pass? So again in the main method, August obj1, let's say, equal to new August, in bracket will put some name here. Okay, and this Subham name will initialize, or this name variable will be initialized by this Subham name. Whatever name we are providing inside the argument. Correct. 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 Yes. Yes. Hmm. Hmm. See, this is all. This is like method. Okay, just like method, we are passing here what string value. right? Suppose we have another constructor called August. You are putting some int age, right? Int age. Then if you put here new August 30, then your age will be here. You should have one variable called age. Okay, that age will be initialized by 30. Same way, I mean, it's same way. So this is constructor, concept of constructors. Now, interface. Interface is a part of abstraction. What is abstraction? Abstraction is you can say abstraction is, suppose you do not know the implementation. You do not know the implementation of some application, or of some requirement. Some requirements are not clear to you, but you know that that functionality should have, I mean, should be included in your application. Okay, it should have inside your application. So in that way, suppose this is my interface, or anyway abstract class also. So suppose this is my interface. How interface is declared? Interface some tut, interface tut or something like that. Interface same, I mean, it's the same as class. I mean, the syntax is same as class. So interface tut is the interface name. Okay, and here you don't know some implementations. Implementations means the method, you know that those functionalities should be there, but you don't know the actual implementation. Okay, suppose we took an example of login, right? Login. So this is username, this is password, this is login button, you know. But what about forget password? Forgot password. What about any captcha? Uh, what about sign up? So those unimplemented. So I mean, those things can be right here, like forgot password. Okay, forgot password, and forgot password, you don't know the implementation, so you are writing this method without method body. Same way, this is sign up. Sign up, method without method body. Suppose this is captcha. Captcha, this is also method without method body. Now whoever, correct, correct. So you are providing um, um, uh, providing you are providing some skeleton to the client. Suppose this is client. This is client means your class, implementation class. Okay, so this is your public class IMPL. Okay, implements this interface tut, right? Interface tut. Okay, you will be forced to implement these unimplemented method. Okay, so this is the override, forgot password. You will get this type of body, and that override, sign up, this kind of thing you will get. Okay, so as a client, we are providing, I mean, as a provider, we are providing client a provision to implement those unimplemented methods. Okay, so this is the concept of interface. You can just go through the video once. Okay, it will be clear, more clear. Yes, unimplemented methods. Only unimplemented methods you can declare. You can implement it later at the time of client operation. Okay. Anything else? when we extend means when we deal with some classes. Suppose we want to create some child class of one class. Okay, so there we'll use extends keyword. Extends. We have already covered. Who is this? I mean, okay. So vanilla, you just go through the videos. We have already covered what are the what is extends keyword, what is implements keyword. Uh, Implements only comes there. uh, so there is a relation. See the relation. Okay, this is, suppose this is my interface. Okay, and I want to use this interface inside a class. Okay, then extend will be the sorry, implements will be the keyword implements. Okay, suppose one is interface. I want to create another child interface. Okay, child interface, then again extends one interface extends another interface. One class extends another sorry, one class implements another interface. Okay, then if it is class, then obviously there should be extends. Only when I want to create an implementing classes of interface, then only we'll use implements keyword. Otherwise, we'll use extends keyword. Okay, fine. Mm, I forgot one thing. Have we covered super keyword? Fine. Final we have covered. Finally also we have covered, right? Finally, right. See, in the try catch only there is I forgot one. Again I had to take one more class on this. So suppose there are n number of catch, okay, catch blocks. Now at the end, okay, I mean, irrespective of whether there is an exception or not, there would be some piece of code which you want to, I mean, which one you want to execute. So for that, finally will be there. Okay, finally block will be there. So in finally, let's say here we'll print this out. This is finally block. Okay, this is finally block. Now if we run it, however we have the exception, still this is finally block is executed. And if we do not have any exception, suppose here let me put some number and some good value here like name, then also then there will be no exception, right? There will be no exception. Okay, obviously this should be 1. Obviously there would be no exception, but this finally block still getting executed. Okay, still getting executed. Suppose you want to close some object, you want to close some object irrespective of it is exceptional case or it is a true case, means whether the program runs fine or not running. Okay, it throws some exception, then also you want to close some object, right? Like buffer reader, like SQL, right? Connection, SQL connections, you have to close that SQL connection, right? So those things can be put in finally. Finally means finally you are closing all of this. Okay, finally you are closing all of this. irrespective of whether it is exception case or it's non-exception case or true case, right case, correct case, you are executing this finally. Think about it. If suppose SQL connection, we'll cover anyway later section when we'll do some database automation. Uh, Suppose SQL connection. So what is a SQL connection? We have to create some connection object. We have to create some connection object, right? So those connection objects, anyway you have to close. Those connection objects, anyway you have to close. Whether you get any SQL exception or not, you have to close the connection object. So in that case, we will close in the finally block. We will close that connection object in finally block. Otherwise, it will unnecessarily block the heap memory or unnecessarily overflow the heap memory. The memory or execution memory will be less. So this is the benefit of finally block. Okay, finally block. Got it? Okay. Now this super keyword, right? Super keyword. What is super keyword? Super keyword is basically consisting. I mean, it related to the parent and child class. Okay, parent and child class. Suppose, let me create one folder. It is super keyword, super and this, super and these keywords. Okay, super and these keywords. Let me put it back to our root folder. Where did it add it? Let me create one class, super parent dot java. Another class could be super child dot java. Now super child class is what? Is a child class of super parent, right? Super parent. Now come to this super parent java. Okay, here in the constructor, let me write one thing. In the constructor, let me write sys out I am in parent class. Okay, I am in parent class. Now in the super child, in the constructor, super child constructor, let me put I am in child class. Okay, now let me create one object. For that we need one main method, right? So I will create one object of child class, right? So super child obj equal to new super child. Now tell me which message will execute first, or which message will print first. I am in child class or I am in parent class. Yes. See the magic. I am in parent class printed first, and then I am in child class printed. Then it is printed. So why it is happening? Why it is happening? Because whenever we have these parent-child relationship, in the child class default constructor, an invisible statement is there, that is super. Okay, that is super. Super means it calls the parent class object. It parent class object. Okay, super statement calls parent class object. Okay, this statement calls what? Parent class object. First, see, I am in parent class, then I am in child class. Whether we are mentioning this super keyword or not, by default, invisibly, just like by default, there is a default constructor, right? So in the same thing, I mean same way, this super keyword will be default for the default constructor. Super keyword will be default for the default constructor. Got it? So super denotes the parent class entities, parent class fields. Super denotes parent class fields. Suppose, let me give you another example. Suppose there is one constructor, that is fine. I am creating one integer value int n equal to 10. Okay, int n equal to 10. Now same way I am putting here int n equal to let's say 12. Okay, now if I print this n value obj.n, then which will be what will be printed? 12, because it is override, it is overriding the value, right? Anyway, but what about if I want to, sorry, j dot super dot n, what is the issue? Okay, just a minute. Super dot cannot use super in static context. Okay, that is fine. Static context, or we can also do one thing. We can static int, and here also this static int n. Okay, not required. See, what it is saying is we cannot call this super keyword in the static method. We can create one thing. Let's say public void print n. Okay, print n. Simple. So what will print? we will first print the n value. Okay, we will first print this n value, and we will print super dot n. Okay, super dot n. So what we did, we have created one method, okay, which is non-static method, because from non-static method, from static method we cannot call any non-static super keyword, right, like that. Okay, that is why we need this. Now uh, this n will print, this 12 will print, okay, if we print this normal n. Now when we'll print this super n, the 10, I mean in the parent class we have mentioned here as a 10, right? So 10 should be printed. Let's run it and see if it is printing as expected. So obj dot print n, and if we run it, see, for normal n only 12 is printed, and for super 10 is printed. So super is calling the parent class entity, parent class field. Got it? Any confusion on super keyword? Are you? Oh my god. Rupali, Nirmal, Vanilla, any confusion on this super keyword? You are writing it down. Okay, fine. You write it down and let me know once done. Yes, yes. So S not capital. S is small. Super. And there is child. You have created this parent child relation, right? Sorry. Hmm. Hmm. Huh. No, no, I have created it because to show you how these things are called. Okay, which constructor is called first. Okay, you can delete it. You can delete this. This is not needed for now. Just delete the constructors. But I just wanted to show you which constructor is created first. I mean, called first, and why? Because super keyword, invisible super keyword is there. Okay. Anything else? So finally, super, and this. Okay. This keyword. This keyword already I showed, right? This keyword is for this class. Okay. The current class. Okay. So whenever, however, I mean, we are printing this n equal to 12, right? So if I put this dot n, so it will print this. Okay. So it's by default. Okay. This n. So what will be the practical thing? Suppose we have a constructor super child, and inside in super child we are passing some variables, right? Variable is string name. Okay, and obviously we should have one uh, variable here, name, same name. So this dot name denotes this name. Okay, this name equal to name. Whatever value will pass at the time of object creation, it will be initialized by that name. Okay, now if we, so this is super child, right? If I put any name called Suvam, okay, now if we sys out obj dot name, it should give me the name Suvam. See, name Suvam, because I have created, I mean I have initialized it using this. So this keyword always used to denote the variable of this class. Okay, current class, variable of current class. Understood? Any confusion? Any confusion? Rupali, Vanilla, Nirmal, understood this keyword? So these variables, here is a same name variable, right? You can see the variable names are same. The difference is we are passing this variable name through argument. Okay, this variable name is class variable. Okay, so this dot name is actually denoting the instance of class, or not instance of class, the variable of class. Okay, not this variable. Okay, this variable is different. This variable is this one. Okay, and this dot name we are denoting this particular variable of line number 4. When we declare any variable, this dot, that variable name, it should it should be the variable of the class declared in the class, current class. Okay, so these are important thing. These keyword, you may be asked this kind of question: what is this keyword, what is super keyword, what is final, what is the difference between final and finally keyword. So final keyword is used to declare any final variable, final method or constants, right? And finally is generally a block used along with try catch try catch finally. Okay. Okay, any more confusion in Java, core Java, whatever we have covered so far? So there is only one thing pending, but I mean that will be covered in the later section. I am letting you practice, or rather to get some expertise on this particular, or this core Java concepts. So pending topic is lambda expression. Okay, lambda expression. File handling will cover in automation anyway. Uh, will cover in automation. File handling means I will show you the code to read write Excel files. Okay, but this is not at all recommended. Okay, if you go to your project and force people to read write data from Excel file, uh, that is not good. Okay, Excel file should not be used as data file for automation actually, because this is binary files. These are all binary files and cannot be seen in the Git. Binary files cannot be reviewed in the GitHub or Bitbucket, whatever, any Git client. We'll see how how to read and write Excel file, but I will request not to use Excel file reading and writing. Okay, so always use some plain text file like JSON. JSON is obviously preferable because JSON is faster, or XML, or if you are too unprofessional, you can use CSV file. If you are too unprofessional, you can use CSV file. Okay, fine. So all other things are okay, right? Okay, fine. So 10 minutes is okay, fine. Let's start the theory part. Okay, theory part, because there are many things. I'm just remembering and covering. I mean, that finally keyword, then this keyword, super keyword was important for your interview. So that was needed. So selenium, right? So let's start with selenium. Okay, let's start with automation today. Okay, it is a brief introduction of automation. So I would I mean I want to know the answer or understanding. uh, oh my god. Okay, fine. Let's continue tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, fine. Thanks.